Okay, so welcome to Blender, and when you first open Blender you have this splash screen. So if you're used to another program, you can actually change the shortcuts over here to 3ds Max or Maya, but we'll use Blender. So this is what it looks like when you first get it. I'm going to start my screencast keys. You can watch what I'm pushing down here. And in this video I just want to show you how to navigate this 3D view and maybe make some modifications to this layout. But for basic navigation, if you click down on your middle mouse button and drag, this orbits around your object. And if you hit 1 on the number key on the right hand side, it'll go to front view, 3 goes to the right side, 7 is top, 0 goes to your camera. If you want to modify your layout, let's say you're going to be motion tracking, over here there's the default workspace, but you can go to motion tracking. But I often just use it on the leave it on the default, and you can split the windows by clicking in the top right corner and dragging to the, if you drag to the left or right, it splits it vertically. Let's say you end up with crazy amount of windows and you kind of are getting lost. If you go to the middle of the window where they connect, if you right click, it gives you an option to join areas, and then you say you move the mouse to which area you want to join it, and then you left click to confirm it. So just practice that a few times. But that's often what I do. I just make my own workspaces, but sometimes these could be helpful, like video editing. This is kind of cool. So we're in the default, and this is our 3D view, which you're usually in. Okay, but when you start clicking around Blender, you realize you can't select anything. So we want to go to our user preferences, and in our input, we should select with our left. We want to select with our left click because that's how we select normally with any computer. And in the interface, I find that your auto perspective is useful. When you switch to the front view or the side view, it'll automatically change perspectives to have no depth, so it's really good for modeling. And you could change the size of the words if you think that's helpful with the display scale up here. And then when you're done changing those settings, just hit Save User Settings. The last thing are some shortcuts I want to teach you. So you can see the shortcuts down here. Shortcuts are important because it speeds up your workflow. Rather than digging in these menus to add a sphere, you can just automatically go Shift A, add sphere. And notice it'll add wherever that cursor is. So let's delete these. So hit X on your selected object and then confirm it with OK. You can add objects by clicking these menus in the Create or the Add tab, but I always use Shift A and A for add. Think about that. And let's add a monkey. So if you want to move this monkey, you can move it on the X-axis by grabbing that red, the Y by grabbing the green, the Z. You can also, I always just grab it. So hit G to grab, and it's moving. And if you hit X, it'll constrain it to that axis, or Y, or Z. You can scale it with S and constrain the scale to the Y, or the X, or the Z. Or if you hit Shift Y, it scales it on everything but the Y axis. Or I'm in scale mode now, Shift X or Shift Z. So that's pretty cool. Rotating, you can rotate it on the Z or the Y or the X. So R rotates, S scales, G grabs. That's pretty much the fundamentals, the basics. I just wanted to add one thing. If you get lost on your view, you want to see the left view instead of the right, all of those options are in this view over here. So there's the back view is sometimes hard for me to get to, or the bottom. And it says all the shortcuts right there.